Hello, friends! Our book for today is titled Luigi, the Spider Who Wanted to Be a Kitten by Michelle Knudsen. When you look at the back of the book, there's always a blurb. So the blurb on the back of this book says, Spiders had to live alone in dark corners, but kittens got to have friends. I will be a kitten, Luigi decided. So let's read and see how Luigi is going to be a kitten. Luigi, the spider who wanted to be a kitten. A big hairy spider was looking for a home. He came upon an old house, one that was sure to have some nice dark corners to hide in. Inside, he found an old sofa with a perfect dark space underneath. He dressed it up with a few quick strands of spider silk and went to sleep. The next morning, he woke up as a hand brushed against him. "What's this?" asked a voice. "It feels like a kitten. I have always wanted a kitten." Gently, he was lifted out into bright, streaming sunlight. The hand and the voice belonged to a lady. She held the spider up and looked at him closely. "Well, hello," she said. "Welcome to my house. You are a very unusual looking kitten. I will call you Luigi." The spider was confused. He was pretty sure his name was not Luigi, and he was very sure that he was not a kitten. "Are you hungry, Luigi?" the lady asked. "Let's get you some breakfast." And she carried him into the kitchen. "I'm not sure what you might like to eat, so we'll just experiment," the lady said. She spooned several different things into a pretty bowl. No one had ever given the spider breakfast before. He took a tiny taste, just to see. Not bad, he thought. Nothing like a juicy fly, though. After breakfast, the lady rummaged around in the back of the closet. Then she called, "Here, Luigi, let's see if you'd like to play." The lady was dangling some kind of cloth bug on a string. "This must be playing," thought the spider. The bug was brightly colored with floppy wings and legs. He wanted to try to catch it. They played for the rest of the morning. Finally, the spider crawled back into his dark space. That was enough excitement for one day, he decided. Maybe kittens were used to all that activities, but spiders were not. The next morning, he crept carefully out into the light. There was no sign of the lady. Good, he thought, nice and quiet. He began to make a little web in the farthest corner of the ceiling, but he kept wondering where the lady might be. Perhaps he would wander around the house a bit, just to see. He found her in the kitchen. She seemed happy to see him. "Good morning, Luigi. Would you like to play some more today?" The spider realized he did want to play. He also wanted some more of that breakfast. Maybe he could pretend he was a kitten, just for a little while. Later, the spider crawled on the ceiling and worked on his web, but not until the lady went out. She might not understand. He was pretty sure kittens did not make webs. They probably didn't crawl on ceilings either. When the lady came back that evening, they curled up on the sofa together to watch a movie. Eventually, the lady announced it was time for bed. The spider, who was beginning to think the name Luigi rather suited him, thought about going back under the sofa. It was nice and dark there and quiet. Maybe too quiet? The lady noticed him hesitating. "You don't have to sleep under there if you don't want to," she said. "Would you rather stay with me?" She placed a fuzzy blanket inside a box and made a tiny bed for him. It looked very cozy. Maybe he would try it out, just to see. The lady carried the box upstairs and placed it near her bed. Then she tucked him in and turned out the light. "Good night, Luigi," she said. The spider lay awake, thinking no one had ever tucked him in and told him good night before. So this was what it was like to be a kitten. He had never known that kittens led such magical lives. Spiders had to live alone in dark corners, but kittens? Kittens got to have friends. I will be a kitten, Luigi decided. The next day, Luigi concentrated on being more kitten-like. He took down his beautiful web. He ate his breakfast from a bowl. He played with toys. He snuggled on the sofa. Sometimes he thought about dangling from the ceiling or creeping around in corners, but he resisted. He was a kitten now. He wondered if he could learn how to purr. That afternoon, the lady began puttering around the kitchen. Luigi climbed up on the counter to see what she was doing. "Every Friday," she told him, "my friends come over for game night. And that's tonight. I'm so excited for them to meet you." Luigi did not like the sound of that. If the lady's friends came over, they might tell her he was not really a kitten, and then she would make him go away. When the first guest rang the doorbell, Luigi fled under the sofa. He watched from the dark as more people arrived. After a while, the lady came over and peeked at him. "There's no need to be shy, Luigi. Come out and say hello." Luigi wanted to come out. He wanted to play with the game pieces and eat the snacks. He wanted to stay with his new friend and do whatever fun things she was doing. He did not want to hide in the shadows. Maybe, thought Luigi, if he tried very hard, the other people would believe he was a kitten too. He let the lady pick him up and carry him into the dining room. He pretended to have 4 legs instead of 8, and that his hair was soft instead of bristly, and that he had 2 triangle ears and a wiggly tail and long, delicate whiskers. He pretended so hard he almost believed it himself. "Everyone," said the lady, "please say hello to my new friend, Luigi." For a moment it was quiet. Then someone said, "Hello, Luigi." And then everyone was saying hello. Luigi couldn't believe it. The pretending was working. Luigi played with the game pieces. He ate the snacks. He nuzzled his head against everything like he imagined a kitten would. He even tried to meow once, very softly. Luigi was feeling very kitten-like indeed. He pranced over to the lady, who smiled at him. Then one of the friends asked, "What made you decide to adopt a spider, Betty? I thought you always wanted a kitten." Luigi froze, his little spider heart sinking like a stone inside him. It hadn't worked after all. They knew exactly what he was, and now the lady knew too. Luigi leapt up from the table and ran from the room and skittered back under the sofa. The lady called him, but he did not stop. He wriggled as far back as he could and squeezed and shut his eyes and hid away in the dark until he fell asleep. He dreamed he was a real kitten, and it was such a wonderful dream that he didn't ever want to wake up. When he did finally open his eyes, the house was quiet. Luigi crept out and looked around. The friends were gone. The games and the snacks had been packed away. The lady, Betty, sat alone at the dining room table. "Oh, Luigi," she said, "I'm sorry. I don't want you to pretend anymore." Yes, Luigi thought sadly. No more pretending. He dropped to the floor and began to slink away. "Luigi, wait," Betty said. "This is all my fault. I already knew you were a spider. I just never said anything because you were having so much fun pretending to be a kitten." Luigi stopped slinking. What did she mean? "I like you for who you really are." She smiled just a little. "You are very good at catching cloth bugs on strings. I bet you want to catch some real bugs too." It was true. He did miss catching real bugs, but he also liked playing and snuggling and being with Betty. He didn't want to live by himself in the dark forever and ever. Not anymore. "Will you stay?" Betty asked. She reached out her hand. "Can you be yourself and still be my friend?" Luigi's little spider heart grew suddenly as light and bouncy as a delicious moth. He ran to Betty and hugged her with all 8 of his long, bristly, creepy, crawly, spidery legs. "I thought I'd always wanted a kitten," she said, hugging him back. "But it turns out what I've always wanted is you." And there we see Luigi and Betty sitting on the couch. That's the end of our story. We'll talk in just a second. Bye, friends.